Welcome to Dynamite Delight, a lot of show. I think that might be the name of this video because I had been racking my brain trying to figure out what would be good than just saying so much or something. I always feel like I botch this every single time. You don't know how many times I have to redo this because I'm always thinking about more than one thing. Maybe one day I may do a reel of how many times I botch and get mad at myself. I don't know, maybe one day. Tell me if you want to see it. But I gotta say this. This was a lot of show for Smash Night 2. It was very good, and it leads into the next show next week. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that say there was too much in the show. And I can't understand why. There was so much crammed in here. It's easy to forget something. And I probably will forget something. Next to because I forget it. But also because I'd rather wait and see what happens next week. Because they do set up for next week. And if I don't mention it, it's either because I forgot it. Or because I want to see what's going to happen next week. So I don't want to mention it. So the first thing I'm going to start with is not the opening match. I'm going to talk about the waiting room with Britt Baker. Look guys, you guys know how I feel about Britt Baker. I really don't care about her. She had a persona that I did think could have been something good. She's a dentist that should act like a dentist, not someone who believes that she is the most important person of AEW to be all and all. She just needed to be a damn dentist that wants to knock to concoct whatever molars in your mouth. She should have knocked them out. I truly believe if she had that moniker like a Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He is a barber. He beats you. He cuts your freaking hair off. I truly believe that she could have played a game about trying to rip people's teeth out. I truly believe that would have been good that she did that. But I'm going to say this about the waiting room. Was it a good segment? Let me give it to you like this. Seeing Cody be there and that she messed around saying about him having a baby, she trying to put over the Go Big show, his show that's coming out later tonight. All that kind of stuff was actually not so bad. Seeing Jade Cargill come out, and I forgot, because I hadn't seen her in a while. That woman, understand, I don't think I got the picture. If I do got it in my face, I should have it. Cody's here. That woman in heels is here. Understand, Cody's over 6 foot tall. For her to be that tall over him, that means she's got to be slightly under him. Because her heels are pretty high. But she's got to be maybe about 1 or 2 inches shorter than him. For her to be this freaking tall. And that woman is thick. And I'm not talking about thick like she fat. I'm talking about thick like she's a brick chicken house. She will destroy your ass. And she got a big butt. But that woman's not small. That woman is a big ass woman that looks like she will whoop your ass. She is cut. Which is damn sexy. But I'm going to say this. She still sounds very choppy when she talks. And she made it very clear. You should be glad you did a favor for your woman getting her pregnant. Because if she was here, I would whoop that ass. I'll let her know what a real mother is like. Because she is a mother. She did have kids. So, the thing that got me was that since you're not going to see Brandy dealing with her, since you are going to see Cody deal with Shaq eventually, and I hope it works out, because this could end very badly when it comes to a guy you don't see actually training or knowing that he's actually working in a ring, knowing that he's doing something. I would have liked to see Shaq actually be at AEW more and actually show maybe let's put it this way. I want to see them show him training and wrestling. I think they need to do that. But they haven't shown it yet. Hopefully they will. But once you see Red Velvet come out, and you see the stark difference between a Red Velvet, I think I got that shot. It's in my face, I hope. If not, you got Cargill here. You got Red Velvet here. She looked like her damn kid. And she whooped that ass. Until it looked stupid when she supposedly smacked her and then started hammering her, and she should have went down. I'm sorry, guys. If you believe seeing Red Velvet not hit the ground against a Jade Cargill was good to see, I do not agree with you. You got a big... I'm sorry. Jade should have whooped Red Velvet's butt and made her stay on the ground. She should not have been going toe-to-toe with her. She shouldn't have. Yeah, she could have done it for about maybe a second or two. Then she should have been knocked on the ground, and then everyone should have held Jade back. So it would show that, one, Jade is a dominant bitch. Not saying that a bad thing. And two, that Red Velvet, after getting laid down, could stand back up, get carried out, and then run back and attack again, and then get laid out again. That's how it should have been. That's how I feel. That's how it should have been. First match, Kingston versus Pac. Now, this was the match I have been waiting for, to see Pac go up against Kingston. And I truly enjoyed it. It was very, very brutal. At one point, and I'm hoping this was a shoot, not a work. The reason I'm botching here is that once you started seeing Kingston go like this, shaking his arm and holding his neck, I'm hoping that was fake, that he didn't legitimately get hurt. I'm hoping it was fake. He does know how to sell very well, so I'm hoping that isn't a real thing, because he really looked like he was hurt. And once you see most of that match, and it was a really brutal match, yeah, it was very aerial, and it was understandable. Kingston is much larger than Pac, and Pac has to compensate for it. But Pac did it in a way, using aerial, using a lot of air kicks, using a lot of drop kicks to compensate for his size. And he didn't just run in like most of those idiots that don't know how to use aerial properly. Face or heel, running into your opponent, constantly going from one move to another, instead of giving it a chance to set in with the crowd sometimes. I'm not saying you need to do it every single time. You gotta pause, then do the move, pause, then do the move. You got to gauge how the match and the story goes. Because a lot of high-flying wrestlers don't do a story. They do a highlight reel. And sometimes it does not work. Sometimes you gotta be like Pac, where yes, he is a high flyer that is very physical, and he used high flying when it was necessary. He destroyed a Kingston, yes, until Kingston got back at him. But once he beat Kingston and then put the brutalizer on him, it was a lovely thing to see. I didn't catch that shot, but you did see an Archer come out wanting to destroy a Kingston. But then you see that Archer still is not on the same page with Pac, and Pac's still not on the same page of Archer. And that means sooner or later, you're going to have Archer, Pac. Literally, this is the discrepancy of height. Sooner or later, you're going to have Pac and you're going to have Archer face one another. It's coming. And if it doesn't come, I think that's a missed opportunity. I really do believe that these guys are a lot alike. You got a sawed-off runt and a Pac who's a Wolverine. Then you got a monster who wants to act like a sawed-off runt. And Lance Archer, who's like the Hulk. If you've ever seen the movie Hulk versus Wolverine versus Hulk versus Thor, you see Wolverine goes nose to nose with the Hulk. That's how it feels. That's just me, guys. Below. Matt with Private Party having an interview pretty much saying they have now joined the Hardy brand. And pretty much Private Party's mad because they're losing 30%. And also they lose out on the third-party deals. And pretty much Matt made it very clear. Why didn't you read your contract? That's not on me. That's you. That's your fault. You're going to learn a lesson that this is dog eat dog. And you're going to follow what I said. You're going to listen because you will make millions. But I'm taking 30% of that million. Now shut your mouth and get going. This is a nice thing to see from a Matt Hardy. He's not acting of the broken brilliance. He's not adding... Well, he's not the broken Matt Hardy. He's not the Matt Hardy of the Hardy Boys. He's not Matt version 1. He is Matt, the businessman. And I like seeing a new persona of Matt Hardy. It's actually nice to see. So this is a good thing. Now, Chuck versus Miro. If he loses, and this is Chuck, he becomes the butler for 1 month. I think I would like to hear him be called the young boy. But that would have worked better if it was for Trent. If Trent had been there, but he did tear his pec. So they can't really go there. Because if it was Trent versus Miro, this would make the perfect sense. See it in this respect. The match that happened was a brutal one. You got Chuck getting annihilated at one point by Miro. Miro does the game over, and now Chuck is the butler for 1 month. But wouldn't it have been better if it had been Miro versus I would have liked to see Trent versus Miro. Who loses becomes the young boy. In other words, you got the senpai, and then you got the guy who's under him who tells him what to do, and basically is not a butler, but basically his protege that he tells what the hell to do, and he's got to shut his mouth and just take it. That's what I really wanted to see, but unfortunately we couldn't. That's it. Let's move on. We had a very interesting thing when it comes to the inner circle. New Year's resolutions. Everybody wanted some. But the one thing that Chris wanted to do with MJF is to do a tag team and to become tag champs. And the one that spoke up was Sammy, saying, I can't believe you're doing this. You're a tag team slut. NAY2J. I just heard him. I go, what? He is a tag team slut. He's tag team with Sammy. He's tag team with Hager. Now he's going to tag team with MJF. He basically slutting himself out, and he pretty much said, well, yeah, I'm a slut, so what? I enjoy being a slut. I wonder if he likes bending over and doing something very naughty with himself. But pretty much everybody in the mother said, look, Santana and Ortiz pretty much say, hey, you brought us in that we're considered the best tag team there is. Now you're doing this? What's going on? So it's MJF who says, look, calm down, guys. I, for my New Year's resolution, want to make stronger bonds with everybody. Calm down. There's no need for this. Let's work together. And it's Chris who comes up with the idea of a triple threat. When it comes to Pride and Power, I'm calling them that. When it comes to Sammy Guevara and Hager, who wants a championship. And when it comes to MJF and Y2J. They all face one another next week, and who wins becomes the premier tag team that will be going after the AEW titles. I already know who's going to win it, I believe, but I'm not saying who. It's going to be interesting to see who it's going to be and how they're going to push them. Let's move on. We now have Kenny Omega, and we thought it was going to be the Young Bucks, but it was the Good Brothers who came out. Very good. It was good to see the Good Brothers show up from Impact Wrestling to AEW. They did mention they were going to be there. They were there. But here's the thing. The match between Pillman, Limelight, as well as Garrison was good. The problem I had wasn't about them losing and that the Good Brothers and Kenny won. It was about there was no sign of any other Impact wrestlers. What happened to Rich Swann? That would have been good to see. Wouldn't it have been better to see that? Hell, wouldn't it have been good to see the Motor City Machine Guns? Wouldn't it have been good to see that? I mean, I understand that Pentagon Jr. comes out and the Phoenix comes out to save him. That's pretty cool. But, and then the Bucks come out and then Pentagon as well as for Ray kick their heads off. I would have liked to see more Impact stars there. Why couldn't you had the Motor City Machine Guns? Why couldn't you had Rich Swann? Hell, let's make it interesting. Moxley needed a partner to come out and back him up. One time only. Moxley, Sami Callihan, Ohioans coming for each other. You could say, oh, he could have said this. This is what I think. What could have happened? He comes out and he says, oh, you think I'm stupid? Oh, you think I'm going to come in here and not be able to handle anything? Oh, I got someone backing me up that I know that has my back because they know me, because they come from where I come from. And you hear Sammy's music come out, and then you see Sami Callihan by himself. No Ken Shamrock. Nobody. He comes out and two Ohioans go in there and whoop ass. That would have been interesting. Just a one-off. You know? And it would be good to see Sammy there because Sammy has a very interesting persona that could be helpful. That's just me, you guys, down below. We had FTR versus Matthew. I'm not about to say Matthew. Marco Stunt and the Jungle Boy. I gotta say this. I've never had a problem with Jungle Boy. And I've never had a problem with Marco Stunt. But here's the thing. When you look at Marco Stunt going up against Dash and Wilder, they're in my face. The amount of defense that he managed to get in, he did get his butt whooped a lot. There's no lie about it. Marco Stunt got his ass whooped. This, I do believe, would have been better to see Jungle Boy in that spot more than Marco Stunt. Now, Marco Stunt had to be out there. You got to get his butt whooped. But I think he was out there a little too long and got a little bit too much defense or offense. And I don't believe that we saw enough of Jungle Boy. Yes, he ate the pin, which he should have ate the pin. And he needed to eat the pin because he shouldn't have. You did not need to see Jungle Boy eat the pin. It had to be Marco Stunt, which is fine. But that was just a critique of mine. I truly believe Marco Stunt got a little bit too much offense, a little bit too much defense, and you didn't emphasize Jungle Boy enough. That's just me, you guys, tell me below. Let's see here. Anything else I'm missing? If I am, well, sorry guys. I'm leaving some things out, and I forgot. You got the final match of the night. I think next to Pac and Kingston, this is the match I like the most. Oh, I take it back. There is one more thing. The best match of the night. The best match of the night. Serena Deep versus Kanji. Now, I believe of the Dark Order. I believe she has joined. That was the best match of the night. Hands down. Hands down. The best match of the night. I loved that match. It was that good. And I truly hope Deeps does something more. And where is Nick Aldis? Where is he? Now, finally, the second best match of the night. And Pac and Kingston is a tie for second best next to this one. And that's Darby Allin versus the Machine Brian Cage. A extremely physical match. Even more physical than Kingston and Pac. They're both pretty much on the same page for me personally. And then you have Deeps and Kanji on top. That's just me. You guys can tell me which one you liked. But for me personally, this is the one I truly believed was the second best tied match of the night. Seeing that Darby Allin was thrown 12 feet into a table that destroyed him, that was good to see. Darby Allin did not win easy here. Seeing him do a coffin drop after he managed to get the Brian Cage onto the steel steps that he moved in position, that that must I don't care who you are. Darby Allin's maybe about my weight or a little bit lighter. I think he's about 170, 180. I'm about I'm like almost 5'9", 5'8.5". I think 5'8.5", I think I am, and about almost 180 pounds. I'm actually a little bit big. And seeing a guy that's near my weight drop about 10 feet in from the air, he's slowly enough, near to 200 and some odd pounds, gains weight with acceleration. Science. Weight with acceleration. Splat. That's what you get. And I don't care if Brian Cage is a monster. That had to hurt a bit. That had to hurt. But in the end, Sting comes out to save him. And he retains his title. Which, honestly, I'm not saying that Darby shouldn't have retained it. But I do believe that Brian Cage needs to win that title eventually. He needs it. That's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I know I could say a little bit more, but I think you should leave it like this because 100% the show is good. But I'll say this, it might have been a little much, but it was good. Peace.